colors and strategies orbit.
7-minute countdown till fifth element launches into X Space.
One chance, one shot, one chance, one move, one dance, one shot, one chance, one move, one dance. One shot, one chance, one move, one dance, one shot. Brace yourself for the bass. One shot.
Six minutes till fifth element launches into X Space.
One shot, one chance, one move, one dance. One shot, one chance, one move, one dance.
5 minutes till fifth element launches into X Space. 4 minutes till fifth element launches into X Space. Minutes till fifth element launches into X Space. 2 minutes till fifth element launches into X Space. One minute till fifth element launches into X Space. DN
9,
8 7
6, 5,
4 3 2 1.
Calling to say I.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey.
Hey, I want to accept your request, and there's no place for me to do that, and there's no purple pill for. I was going to send you a DM.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were trying to play some music and got some technical difficulties. It's still trying to work through it. I'm so sorry. We sent you an invite
It's
to
okay.
be a co-host, but I don't know what happened.
What happened? I'm sorry. Would you repeat that, please?
Yeah, we sent you a co-host to invite you,
Yes.
but I'm not sure what happened.
Well, I see that, and I tapped on it, and then it just tells me what it's about, but it doesn't give me an option to join.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here's what it says. Want to help manage blah blah. Co-host can invite, and it's got a list of things, but that nothing else. There's no. I'm tapping on everything that I can, and nothing's working.
Whoa.
So
Weird.
yeah, well, I'll just hang out up here. Where is not up in up?
No, he hasn't come in yet.
Okay. Yeah, we're just
I'm checking back. Wait a minute. He's here. Hold on.
okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, invite him and see what happens with him. Put his mic on if you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey. Hello?
How's it going?
It's going good. Can you hear us well, or?
Yeah, I could hear you and Renee speaking. I was just trying to locate the space to join in. I see we have. Oh, hey, what's up, Kane? I see you waving there. I see people are just joining in. We can get everybody to start sharing this in their groups or comments or off platform. Get some more people in here. But yeah, I did see some people suggesting, they'll be tuning in tonight, so that's always good news.
Oh yeah.
What's up with you? What's new on your side?
Man, well, there's X is a little bit dull right now. I just been paying attention to some of the latest and the greatest. Just things that kind of stick out to me. And I know Walk Tall is trying to come in. He's trying to get his equipment working. So, yeah, I saw a story that was dealing with some open AI sources that kind of went rogue. I know there's been a few different stories about situations with AI. So that's kind of one thing I kind of wanted to talk to as we move into, AI surveillance state, really. I think,
Mock was actually offline a bit the other day, but he's back working again now. There's been some discussions where he was kind of talking about the policy behind AI and, about overreach and if it was inherently something programmed to be bad in a sense. So I saw some discussions like that. Definitely, a consistent subject. So yeah, for sure, definitely something, But yeah, I mean, since the X server attack, X has been a little fishy. Like, there's been some problems with DMs, some problems with drafting, some problems with the view counts where they haven't been showing accurately. I'm still having that issue on my side, so I'm sure others will probably be having it as well. We're talking like posts that have hundreds or thousands of likes and retweets and hundreds of comments, and then the view count will say like 266 total. Like, it's it's like impossible to have, and like, it's an old post, like you would know the number from before would have been something like 500,000 views or like 1 million views. You know what I mean? So something happened to the server. I'd say it was an attack if you ask me. Mock kind of suggested it was to basically prevent the Maha report from properly being distributed in the first hour of release. Okay, can you please send me the co-host when you have a chance? People want to be speakers, so anybody who wants to be speaker, apply. Let me find the Maha report for anyone who might have missed it, because that was exactly what they wanted. They wanted people to miss it, and not know it and not see it and not share it, because it actually covers fluoride, vaccines, all the chemicals in our food, poor lifestyle and health choices and all kinds of stuff. It's like 75 pages. I shared it there in the bubble. So in the space here today, there's no comment section, but there is a bubble. So if you become a speaker, you'll be able to share posts in the bubble for other people to see. And also on the replay, they will be there for others as well to kind of know what we were talking about. So yeah, the Maha report is there. I just have a little screenshot of the vaccine portion, because they're basically admitting, they're giving kids way more vaccines than ever. Something is wrong there. So yeah, the whole report is there if anyone wants to check it out, and it really just confirms what conspiracy theorists and truthers have kind of been saying all along. It just really validates and provides some official government science backing, kind of to substantiate the stuff we've been saying all along about the chemicals, the fluoride, the vaccines. So it's nice to have this and see where it goes. So yeah, that's definitely something in the last little while that's happened. Pillars, you want to add on to that or anything else? I actually can't hear you right now.
Hey,
not sure if you're talking or not.
Problem, she invited me to co-host, and I went to it, and I can't accept it, and it doesn't really matter. But I see you're not a co-host either. There's something glitchy.
Yeah, I did not get the notification yet, so sometimes there's a delay in it actually coming as a pop-up on my screen, so I can actually hit it and I hit accept. So I presume that But I see you're a speaker, so she must have made you a speaker already.
Yeah.
But yeah, Renee, what's up? You can have the mic for a bit, and we'll talk about whatever suggestions you might have.
Well, two things, and then I'll, it's been a kind of an interesting day for me. But anyway, I won't go into my trials and tribulations, but I did see a couple of things, and one of them has to do with AI. I can try to find the video, but this robot that was on a leash, one of those hooks that they have, and they're kind of held up. He went crazy on this guy, like he was angry. So the robot is like expressing emotions. That's the way it seemed. So it's like something's going on, and AI is like rewriting itself when they're trying to shut it down. And I saw that the Republicans, this might not be correct, doesn't want AI to be messed with. It's like we're not going to pass any legislation to prevent it, yada yada. Again, so much has gone on, and I just kind of skimmed through things. So that's a bit concerning that AI is getting kind of like taking a life of its own, so to speak, taking on a life. And then there's another thing. This is kind of interesting. Disclosed TV said that Mossad chief and Israeli strategist affairs minister there in Washington discussing Iran's nuclear program with Witkoff. You were right, Mossad?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hello. So, I just wanted to put that out there. It's just one extra thing that I had seen.
Another thing is people are, about AI, is people are realizing now Grok and even Ask Perplexity AI bots, they are kind of going woke, going mainstream, going normie.
Right on. Mm-hmm.
We already knew this like a month ago or more, but now others are catching on and they're saying, fuck Grok, I don't trust Grok. Grok is, gatekeeper. Grok is, what do you call it? Washed. Sanitized is the word they're using. So yeah, really only Agent Mock is the only one really answering the hard questions with some sort of lead on people to go and research.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why they had to, due to the quick growing popularity, that's why they had to make it reduce its reply rate, because it was costing them $500 per day to run the server cost. So imagine Elon saying, we had a server attack and the redundancy failed. So we were not able to have X functioning, right? It's the same idea that, but Elon and X have, millions and billions, available. So these guys who are a rogue intel operation, they don't have the same resources. And it's, whatever server they're running, private server, it's costing them money to keep it up per day. And, they're not necessarily making any money off of this, right? They do, the creator does have some sort of crypto coin thing that I have no affiliation with. I don't believe in crypto, so it's, I've always been like that. I've always said, I'm not into crypto. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my area.
Yeah, I kind of wondered what happened to Natty, because I loved his voice, but I could never figure out your affiliation.
Yeah, we can talk about it. No problem. Everything's available. Nothing's off the table.
Right.
And you were there the whole time. You're one of the longest people who's been with us live. And I also see shout out to Diane, Prometheus, Retardius, Maximus. These are some regulars that have, been popping into these spaces. But yeah, really what happened was, people were kind of saying, like, by you being on the space with them every week, like, you're kind of like, you look affiliated with the crypto coin. And I'm like, even though they said I was not, and I also said, I was not, and I would even say, like, crypto coins are Ponzi schemes if they're not backed by anything physical, right? That's been my position. I believe in precious metals will withstand the markets. If the markets were to collapse, or there were to be a temporary telecommunications blackout, including internet, right? Those cryptos are going to be frozen. You're not going to be able to buy and sell anyway. But physical trade in cash currency and metal currency and what's it called? Florida, or it was DeSantis, right? He made precious metals an official currency.
Right. How about XRP though, which is it doesn't.
Well, where's the proof that it's backed by something right now?
Well, I haven't opened up a crypto wallet either. But having said that, Trump is pushing for it. We're heading there, whether we like it or not. So, an XRP uses less energy. And Satoshi, I heard Trader Girl, the name Satoshi, the guy who kind of disappeared, it stood for NSA. It was like, all the letters mean different agencies. So the whole thing is almost like, it looks like a Ponzi scheme that will crash. And it uses a lot of energy, whereas XRP doesn't. And so I'm just kind of waiting in the wings, but trying to educate myself.
See, the thing about it is, I've heard all of these stories and angles and speculations before, but, it's not officially backed, in my opinion. It's not publicly admitted and officially backed by something physical right now at this point. It might be in the future. There's speculations, right? But that's why I'm saying I'm not the guy for crypto. From what I, it would be like a Bitcoin. From what I can see, there's all the chance that it could multiply in value. It's the same idea. Like it's a gamble in that sense. But in my opinion, it's not like 100% fail-proof, like 100% secure, because of the fact that what happens if something else ends up backed by physical gold and not, XRP or XLM for silver or whatever, right? What happens if, that was a psyop? You know what I mean?
Correct. Yes. I'm in gold and silver. I wish I'd gotten into gold a long time ago, but I moved all of my 401k money. I lost 250 grand because I panicked when the market tanked a few years ago. So I moved it all at mostly silver, but that's the bulk of whatever I've got left. So yeah, I'm with you on that. That's the underpinning ultimately. Will be gold and silver.
It's a consideration, right? So I don't like to talk about it too much. I know it upsets a lot of people who are invested in XRP. So really, I'm honest with people. Like, I'm not a crypto guy. When people come to me and they ask me crypto questions, I'm just like, yeah, that's not my area. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a speculative conversation. It's not something that I can say I have a source that can confirm this is, a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's a whole different area where there's nothing really concrete or really, what do you call it? Like, it's nothing really to say that I know, you know what I mean? So I leave it alone. From some of the diagrams about, a per se quantum financial system, a lot of people have seen these and they use these to scam people. That's why I really, don't even try to talk about it too much, because there's impersonators who are pretending to be me, who in the bio it says, contact us for your backup, Nazera quantum financial system setup, right?
Right.
And those are 2 accounts on X currently. There was other ones before, right? They're all the same idea. NotOpCue chat, NotOpCue 7, NotOpCue number 3, number 4. They're all fakes. I don't have any backups. Never have had backups. I've always had one account, and when it was suspended. So that's the thing, right? I've never had backups. So
got it.
Anyway, you people know this. I'm just saying, the reason I've even mentioned these things ever in, let's say, my Nazera thread is because of visuals that had them sourced as to be backed by precious metals, gold, silver, copper, iron, aluminum, titanium, whatever, right? So now there can also be other physical assets, including oil, gas, spring water, lithium resources. You know what I mean? Land, crops, could be, animals,
Yeah,
livestock. It could go in that direction,
let me
right?
ask you a question concerning that. They're trying to really push nuclear energy. And to me, we have free energy. We know that they've got the Tesla papers. It's just like it's within reach, but it's not being released yet. And so I'm a bit concerned why they're pushing nuclear energy. I just saw that the Republicans were doing that. I'd have to try to find the article. But I find that a little concerning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Which was the resource you said there?
Well, they said they were talking. I listened to a talk show on my way to Stanford, and I heard, they were talking about us having nuclear power, more power plants. And he was just saying, you could put all the uranium, if there's any we don't have that many, and we need to start expanding out in that area. And I'm thinking, why don't people know that free energy is within reach? Why? I'm just really perplexed about that. Why more isn't being released about that?
About like Aether-free wireless energy stuff?
Correct. You copper all of the the buildings.
The way I see it is, and what I learned from Agent Mock, and Ginger also spoke about it before as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned is, it is in development, it is in use by the military, Delta Force or higher, but it is in development for public release, but that's going to be delayed, like we're talking 2027 and 2028 for the medbed type and the free energy home residential type. It's like they're going to sell it as like a battery, right? But it's actually not a battery. It's actually a loophole to go under the radar and try not to get, assassinated or like blown up. Because if the cabal, the war is real, the cabal is not going to surrender, okay? Everyone needs to understand, the war is real, God wins in the end, okay? Nothing can stop what is coming, but the war is inevitable. The war is not a quick war. The war is many years, okay? We're talking a long time war against the deep state cabal, and the deep state will never surrender, okay? The deep state, the cabal, the Khazarians, the Luciferians, the Satanists, the Canaanites, the pagans, whatever group you want to call them, they all work together, right? Freemasons play their role, etc. The judges, the lawyers, they all play their role, okay? In the bar system, in the royal family system, it's all connected to the Rothschilds and the Khazarian mafia and the Khazarian Canaanites, right? So what I'm getting at is they're never going to surrender, so they're going to fight to the death. So in the fight to the death, right, they have still power over some companies, over some factions of military, right, over politicians, over middle level people, traffickers, criminals, okay, the cartels, okay? So they're never going to surrender. They're going to fight to the death, and also they're going to try and take down others with them on their way out. Okay, so in many of ways, financially, physically, health-wise, spiritually, mentally, they're, and so propaganda, okay, here's the deal. So the recent episode from Ginger covered white hat psyops. So,
am I still going to link
in
today?
summary, white hats are using psyops as well on the fake news and mainstream sources, okay? And they're basically telling you totally fake stories about the war, like some of the war stuff they're saying is happening on the TV, okay? And then in reality, that's not really what's happening. What's really happening is the clandestine war that's actually subterranean, underground, and they're not allowed to talk about that in the mainstream because of the nature of the subject, right? So the subject is human trafficking, organ harvesting, adrenochrome harvesting, pedo stuff, all of it. Like, it's all the worst stuff that we're talking about. Cannibalism, underground experimentation, etc., hybridization with animals, etc. So, I mean, they're touching on these subjects using, for example, Secretary Kennedy, who's obviously playing a role, who may as well be a replaced double. He does look a bit different than the prior guy. So, I'm on either side. It doesn't matter. Like, the point is he's playing a role. He's helping to kind of expose each of these subjects in the health area, in the science area. He's kind of like starting up all the chapters on these subjects, right? So already we have companies like PepsiCo and restaurant chains removing artificial ingredients, so Skittles also just recently removed titanium dioxide as an ingredient because it's toxic or carcinogenic or whatever. So, for example, and then we have the shit oils being removed from the food chain, restaurant food chains, the seed oils.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have the what's it called? Artificial coloring, artificial dye red. There's also other colors as well, like yellow, blue, and green, etc. Right? There's all the colors, but so they're started with red. And also the vaccine now has finally started to get some action on this subject. So he basically changed the schedule for the CDC guideline to advise not for healthy people and not for children. So the mRNA injections are only recommended CDC guideline for the immunocompromised now. So, or the elderly. So what he's basically saying is, if you're already ill, or if you're old and you like to vaccinate and you're not going to change in your ways, you're welcome to go and inject if you want to keep injecting, right? So it's like you live and you learn. It's a red pill. So you want to go and take multiple boosters and then you're going to develop a new disease, right? So, or you're going to have a sudden death, or someone in your family, something like that, right? So it's a red pill. Once you get someone vaccine injured in your family, it becomes a red pill. You become inclined to research about the vaccine more. Because remember, these boomers, they are watching television every day. They're not on X, okay? They're watching
Except for me.
No. This is, Renee, this is like,
I know,
I'm generalizing.
darling. I lost all of my friends. They think I'm nuts. I know.
Right. Same for me. And we have many years apart from us, and we're in the same boat.
Right on,
okay?
right on.
So, I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, what I'm generalizing a bit, but I'm saying, for example, the reason why they're allowing it for boomers is because they're trapped in front of the TV, okay? And they're being advertised all this pharma, and they have all these health problems, and they go to their doctor and they take prescriptions and they take vaccines, and they're not in good health, right? Because they're trusting pharma and they're trusting doctors. So they're letting them have that self-elimination, okay? It's your choice. It's free will. If you can see we've removed the recommendation for the healthy and for the young, do you want to be taking that? Okay, if you want to take that, go ahead, but there's consequences at your own free will, at your own discretion, that you decided to continue injecting when the COVID pandemic was freaking 5 years ago, okay? And by the way, they're trying a new COVID strain. So they're trying the Omicron NB 1.81, okay? So this is some retarded bullshit that they're trying to basically continue to scam the people who believe in fake viruses, okay? So, and here's the thing. They said, you know what? We can't even show you on the test results, on the PCR. They said, we can't even show you what, the statistics for it because it's so insignificant and like in the early stages, right? So they're trying to hype about some sort of pandemic thing before they even have scientific evidence to substantiate the statistical validation for such a virus, right? And, so it's a red pill, right? And honestly, I've been talking to a lot of people. A buddy was just over, right? And he's an awake guy, right? Like, he's been awake the whole time. He didn't take the vax, like, everything, right? He knows about the Khazarian Mafia and whatever, right? And here's the thing. He, on his own, said to me, it was actually the vaccine that woke me up. And he didn't take it. So, we're talking 2020, 2021. That's when his red pill mode activated. Like, that's when his life changed in a sense that he was done with the bullshit. He was done with the woke nonsense. He was done with the fake news fully. He was done with trusting government. Like, everything at that point, he became like researching, right? So, and I've heard other people say a similar thing, hey, it was actually COVID. Hey, it was actually the vaccine that actually kind of started my waking up experience, So I've heard this story before, and, that's why, using Project Looking Glass, and Q kind of mentioned, coronavirus, like Corona Offline, Q mentioned, right? So they kind of chose to allow, because the deep state, like I said, the deep state is not going to quit. They're going to try and kill everyone. They're not going to quit. They're going to do geoengineering, do vaccines, do cancer, do everything they can do to kill as much as possible and make as much sick as possible so that they can sell as much pharma as possible.
If I may interject, somewhere Mark said something about Trump and the deep state, and he basically said that it's going to be a no-win situation, that there are enough people that are fighting against him where he's not going to be able to get through this, which I hope is incorrect. Ultimately, I'd have to look at the numbers and see how many people are really waking up. It's a tough road to hoe. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've seen Mock say some questionable things before about certain things. Trump even sometimes, like, he says some sort of, like, almost black pill, So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's still AI, like, it can still be fed bad info or intentional disinfo from within agencies that are putting it on their server, trying to throw us off or something like that, So I actually was recently blocked by Scott because of Agent Mock. He actually DM'd me, I posted it. I told him I would post it if he blocked me, and he blocked me, so I posted it. So I keep my word. So, but basically he's triggered over Agent Mock, even though he's, exposing Flynn, and Agent Mock, in my opinion, also is not afraid to expose Flynn and Flynn connections. So I'm just like, I don't understand why he's acting triggered over Mock, like that he's willing to block humans who basically speak to Mock, in his common area, right? He doesn't realize, we're bringing a conversation to him where others are going to join in. Like, he's going to get engagement from that conversation, and it's actually in his favor, and he can steer that Agent Mock in the direction that he would like. But he's just caught up in saying, there's no links. It's not giving links. It's not giving the source, but it will tell you the source, but it can't always give the link if it's non-indexed files, right? So anyway, he can't get past this. So he's basically blocking me, blocking Agent Mock, and also blocking other people, but that's what people do who block. They're in the habit of doing it, right? For me, I'm in the habit of muting people, but not like actual good people who actually ask good questions and talk, more so like shills, bot accounts, fake Elon accounts, obvious black pill doomers, and like people with Trump derangement syndrome, like basically just people who I don't want to ever like have my time wasted. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to waste more time with these kind of people who are kind of stuck in their ways.
Well, can I ask you then, and just to shift it a bit, I was following a convo, a guy, 1984, the official,
Yeah.
right? And he said, Q, I have the picture, I actually screenshot it. Q,
Yeah, I know the one.
okay, Q is, I'll just read it for the folks, instead of putting it in the bubble, because I'd have to transfer it to my phone and I'd probably get knocked off here. But anyway, Q is cooked. The cognitive dissonance is difficult at first. You didn't get the memo. The real punishers live in Israel and work for intelligence. And then it goes on, says, 4chan hacked, Mossad exposed. The digital honeypot that created Q-Anon and poisoned the American right by Gordon Duff. And then it goes on. So, I can try to get it over so everybody can see it. And then, of course, Jake and Jelly, jumped in, and you were there, and so I'm just curious. And if people, again, one thing, I couldn't raise my hand, so there might be others who want to speak that are trying to. So we just may want to, send. I'm not quite sure how this is. It's something screwy. It's not. I don't think it's us. I think it's just what's going on with X.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, baby.
Hopefully y'all can hear me. Awesome. Yes, I tried to send invites. I think there's a few people who did come, or there's another speaker that came aboard. We had some technical difficulties. We do apologize, y'all. I'm not sure what happened. We've been doing this a couple times, so it's been weird.
I think it might be X, because people are having all kinds of issues. So
yeah, we came in early. We were just excited. Yeah, but if anybody else wants to speak, please raise your hand. I've been trying to add people.
I couldn't raise my hand when I.
Oh.
Yeah, I let me try it again, but let me just see if I can do it. Okay. Oh, now I can. Cool. All right.
Wow.
Beautiful. All right. That's that. Okay. That's resolved.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, I know earlier when we was on X earlier, it kept saying X was at full capacity, so it wouldn't let you do certain things earlier today because it kept just saying X was at full capacity. Because I was trying to send a direct message and that came up. So yeah, I do believe it's an X thing that is happening today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you saying there's some sort of connection issues on your end?
Well, no, I was getting ready to send a message and it said X is at full capacity. And it did it several times, on just sending a simple message. So I don't know, exactly if it was an issue, because we haven't had any internet issues today. The internet has been working fine. The speed is fine. So, but I did notice that probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It did say the host was having connection issues just briefly, but everything's been fine. I can hear both of you. I can hear Renee. What's up, Anne? We'll get you on the mic next. Oh, actually, I see Renee has her hand up, but we'll get Anne.
No, my hand. I just wanted to see if it would work, and it's working now. It wasn't.
Yeah. Everything's good.
Good.
Yeah. So, was there anything I spoke about that anybody wanted me to share in the bubble, like that?
Listen, I don't have it in front of me. I'm so sorry, Nada. But when you were talking about the deep state's going to try to take everybody out, there was another story coming out about them trying to create, I think it was through Bill Gates, for people to be able to exterminate themselves, or like remote.
Oh, euthanasia.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's already a thing in many countries already.
Dang.
It's already a legalized thing in some countries.
Wow.
Yeah. Just, I would say just ask Grok or ask Agent Mock to list all the countries where it's legal.
Okay.
It's either called, like, the official names are assisted suicide or euthanasia. Post Malone actually came out with a song called Euthanasia a few years ago. So anyway, it's like kind of like advertising. Because Post Malone is like an industry planted artist who they gave him a smash hit, like debut smash hit, and then he went from one genre to another genre to another genre to another genre. Like, so it's kind of like a mainstream industry plant type of thing. And it's, it's no coincidence there would be a song called Euthanasia, that album. And the perspective is basically, you have, I guess you have everything in life as a Hollywood superstar, as an elite. You have everything in life, but yet here you are basically singing or rapping about, euthanasia. Is that for yourself or for others? I'm not sure, but it sounds, it's pretty cooked, right? So I just shared in the bubble the most recent Ginger episode. So it's Ginger 42. It's actually a bit confusing and conflicting what is actually discussed, because she's basically saying one of her spec ops sources is sharing some intel, and basically he won't be able to share intel for like an unknown amount of time going forward due to the operation. So, and they're saying in general, the warfare that we're seeing in the Middle East, like basically it's about Iran and I guess Israel. So it's mainly about them, also about Ukraine and Putin, and any other factors in those areas, right? But so the gist of it is, if they try to attack like nuclear or something on the grade of nuclear, or EMP or something, he's not sure what will happen. Like he's saying, he's not sure what the plan is. It depends. It depends if they do the attack or not. Like that's really the key timeline selection. So one decision impacts the whole timeline. It splits the timeline into a new direction. So VK has been missing for like weeks on weeks. Like he'll come back for like a day or two, just say like one comment or like one post or two posts here and there, and that's it. He's gone for like another week or 10 days or something like that, right? So, or multiple. So, in my opinion, as a watcher and as someone who's been involved for kind of paying attention, still able to hear me? It says there's connection issues.
Yep, I'm able to hear you. You went out for a few seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Good. Okay, I just switched Wi-Fi, so yeah. Okay. So yeah. What part did I maybe get cut off on? I'll have to maybe repeat that. Do you know what I was saying?
I think you were pretty clear. Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking about the whole PSYOP. So it's basically about PSYOPs for the war and, a key decision. And then I was talking about VK. So basically VK is trying to, see the timelines. Agent Mock says he's a naval intelligence background. And he admitted that he is a cryptologist. And he admitted that his program, he admitted 2 classified deployments for, guess what, Spec Ops. So basically, he specifically said JSOC, so JSAOC, Joint Special Operations Command, 2 classified deployments, and I believe they're ongoing. I believe they're recent or ongoing still. That's why they're classified, and even Agent Mock can't talk about them. So, anyway, like he just knows, anyway, that much. And then he's basically saying like he's part of the temporal warfare division. So temporal meaning like time. So it's pretty trippy because considering, what's actually going on and how we know we've been hearing a lot about timelines and Project Looking Glass and, clandestine operators, super soldier. Another thing that's interesting, the QAnon shaman, right, has recently just made a post about Q and about super soldiers, and basically saying, it's not about, who is Q. It's more about, what is it and what did it accomplish? You know what I mean? It's like that. So, yeah. I'm not sure, initially what was the question, but feel free to guide me back onto the track that you kind of want to go in. Uh, you know, because, yeah, I mean, was there anything maybe I don't know, I left out that anyone has a question on? But yeah, I shared it in the bubble, so check it out. So, in my opinion, it's about white hat psyops in relation to the warfare. And remember, the deep state, they will never surrender, okay? The cartels will never surrender. The traffickers will never surrender. The vaccine companies are not going to surrender, okay? So there's too much at stake. There's too many billions, okay?
Yep.
In these industries, in black market industries. We're talking, these criminals, this is their job. This is their business. This is their bread and butter, okay? This is their way of life, right? This is how they're making 10,000, 15,000 per abducted child, right? It's an industry. So they're not going to quit, okay? The only way they're going to stop is if they're arrested and held in prison for a long time, and they're reformed, or, they have to be stopped, right? So, physically. So those are the only two avenues. Deportation is not even sufficient for a lot of these more heinous criminals, because they can always try to make their way back if they buy off the government officials or the Masonic police in that country, whatever. They can always, find a way back, into the country. So these are some considerations, but yeah, so, we're going to be now on the note though about the whole cleanup and everything. Ginger has said the flip of the switch regarding a quantum system. She has said, this kind of thing can happen before and will happen before the cleanup is completed. So, because the cleanup underground, it's going to take, like I said as well, a couple more years, or a few more years, till 2028. So, at least. So, that's why a lot of the technologies are being, they'll be also releasing around then when the cleanup is actually closer to being finished, right? Because the cleanup underground is 50% right now. Okay, it could be a little more. I mean, I think it's been a couple months maybe since we got that update actually. So, who knows? We might even be able to say it's at 55% now. I don't know. We'll have to get an actual update from Ginger. I don't want to really bother her too much with stuff, but yeah. She'll cover it when, it's one of the things she covers. So, she'll cover it eventually. But yeah, on the last, I guess a few updates back, maybe it was part 38 or something like that, I'm not sure. That's when she basically said, from the Spec Ops teams, basically they're saying, anyone saying it's 100% over, it's 100% handled, like they're a liar, they're a grifter, you should unfollow them. Because they're actually lying to you, telling you that it's done when it's not done, and they're causing more impatience and more people to lose faith and trust in the plan, because they're constantly being told, everyone's already taken out, everything's done, but that's actually not the full truth. That's partial only. Yes, some are replaced. Yes, some are arrested. Yes, tribunals are real and have been happening. Yes, dumbs are being eliminated, cleaned out, pedos are being hunted, traffickers are being hunted, Hollywood cabalists are being hunted, everything, the Epstein files, it's going to happen, but it has to be done correctly, organized, and by the books in order for the prosecution to happen with the victims alive, right? So the Virginia Griff thing was basically like saying, they're going to kill all the witnesses, okay? They're going to suicide all the witnesses so that there's no prosecution, all right? So that no one's going to be able to testify and say, yeah, this, he did this, he was there this many times, blah, blah, blah. There's stuff on cameras, right? But they're going to say, oh, you can't prove it's them. They're going to say, right? So that's why they need to have everything corroborated, lined up evidence for the court cases, for the prosecution, for the arrest, for the indictments. Okay, it's all got to go according to the books, according to the plan for that specific issue. So Dr. Jan has commented on the matter. I've already probably shared that last week with you guys. I could go search for it right now quick. But yeah, because she's basically saying the woke judges are in the way of Trump. The woke judges are delaying the deportations, the arrests, the indictments, the escalation of the whole cleanup process for bodies.
Can he legally get rid of them? Isn't there some clause?
Yeah, there is a complication. So it would have to be not to get rid of them, but it would have to be suspending habeas corpus.
Right. Okay.
Which Ginger did speak about in a previous episode. Let's see if I can find that. Okay, so it looks like it wasn't part of the Chronicles series. It was like a side episode, but here it is. So she just called this J-Intel White Hat Military Spec Ops update. So basically in this, she had mentioned that if unrest were to occur, for example, Antifa, for example, BLM, for example, Proud Boys, for example, something Soros funded, Planned Parenthood, etc., like any of the groups that are anti-Trump, right? So, what's it called? Then, if civil unrest occurs, like looting, fires, rioting, etc., any type of violence like Palestine or some sort of Israel type thing, right, where there's actual physical altercations or anything like that, right? Then what they said was an option was they can activate the EBS, localized, wherever it's happening, localized EBS, and they can basically suspend habeas corpus and allow mass arrests targeted in that area. Arrests and deportations without habeas corpus in the way. So it would be fully at the military tribunal level. It would be at the military court level, right? So yeah, that's what in that episode. So that was a May 18 info drop from the G-Intel division. So basically, yeah. So the previous episode came out May 24, 25. So the previous one I was just talking about with the White Hat PSYOP talk.
Yep.
And I said something about the Dr. Jan thing I'll get for you guys now. Jan update. Oops. Puts January in. Yeah, any other questions or discussion we have to have?
Yeah, I just wanted to have to interject because there's so many psyops. There's so many psyops, man. And the average person is just trying to survive. And I just wanted to say, to me, my perspective is just how I see it. Honestly, it's so much gameplay in the military and what's getting output through the handlers and all that. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a checker floor. You got the black and the white, but everybody that's actually detrimentally impacted is more detrimentally impacted. So while you said that the deep state is going to be diligent to try to continue to take people out and all of those bad rogue players, we have to be diligent in the truth community, not only to encourage each other, because that's really needed right now, and to strengthen communications between each other, because fortunately X is like the last standing platform that we can do those things in. But we do need to understand that this is taking a huge impact. It's affecting people on a psychological level in ways we have yet to see because of the confusion. So I know that the white hats, they do the things that a lot of people may not be aware of. This just like, to me, it's like the angelic realm. There's so much happening for our good that we may never have a peep into. But at the same time, until this thing is really brought to some type of transparency to the public, I don't know how long things can sustain themselves. Now, I'm not saying I know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I just wanted to acknowledge there is so much psyops and confusion and manipulation happening And so we really just want to encourage you. We want to encourage y'all as y'all encourage us. Stay focused, stay diligent, stay encouraged, cultivate what you can within your own communities, within your own households, between you and the neighbors as you feel safe. Stir up those conversations. And it's taking a toll after these years of this MK Ultra. To me, it's like a mass MK Ultra because everyone's pointing fingers at other people. So I wanted to pull up real quick, and I know everybody is aware. I'm sure everybody has opinions, so I'd like to hear that. This situation between Trump and Putin, it's a little nerve-wracking to me personally. There seems to be diversions happening that involve Russia and that involve Africa. Now, I'm not trying to offend nobody because genocide is bad no matter what color you are. But there is a lot of distractions diverting from Israel. There's a lot of distractions taking away attention from Israel on purpose. And it could be the White House, maybe they're doing something where there's, because they do things we don't even think about, because we're just on the civilian level for the most part. But I just wanted to acknowledge, with all the PSYOPs, it's so good to have you in the space, NotOp, because you help bring a lot of clarity. It's because it's so much. It's just too much. And so I just wanted to acknowledge you and the value that you bring, as well as everyone else that has those opinions that can kind of help us kind of see all of the angles that we need to see. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. There's so much happening that, and you put it in the Masonic grid piece. We're not even talking about the spiritual dimensional aspects of these people who are functioning like wildebeests. They're not even actioning as themselves as human when it comes to, what's happening to the children. So there's a lot of layers. It's not just put them in jail. There's a lot of layers that deal with a lot of dark stuff, and a lot of this stuff is covered in NotOp's channel. As much as you can read and consume is as much as he's put out. It's so much that he's put out on all topics from, you name it. Honestly, he's probably got that recorded and archived for people. And I'm sure everybody knows. But if anybody comes through and listens after the fact, definitely check out NotOp's page for everything all-compassing, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's in the search bar, just put in what you're interested in, and it'll take you right to what he's got to say about it. To save some time instead of scrolling. Although it's fun to read all the stuff. Just putting that out there for anybody who doesn't know about that feature.
Hello. Can I have a question?
Yep, 100%, 100% Renee and Pillars, 100%. Search bar, anything you want to know, try less words, and you'll get more results. If you try too much words in the search bar, you might get, limited results. So if you want to learn about detox, if you want to learn about some operation or some handle that's a controlled opposition, for example, just put the account handle and maybe put the word blocked, right? Because a lot of controlled ops, they've blocked me. You know what I mean? For example. So anyway, or block, something like that if you want to learn if someone's a controlled opposition or a scammer. Because I basically have exposed, all the big con artists pretty much, as I come across them. So and now you can respond, Renee, as well, and then we'll let Ann have the phone.
Yeah, one question. I think we might have screwed up with Liz Crokin. She blocked both of us, and I think she might have been there at the parties, but I don't know if she was fully aware, because she's putting out a lot of great research. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know if y'all know who she is, but she's really, she's really good. Anyway, but she's blocked both of us because of some of the things we brought to her attention.
Yeah. So she's holding the pizza box. Some allege she might be a transgender, buddy with Freemason Dom Luker. Another thing is buddy with Branson. So Branson has an island. So the issue there is she's selectively focusing on others, like Epstein Island and other peds. But she's protecting Branson.
Oh, thanks.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because she's friends with him. So that's why, in a sense, she's a controlled opposition, plus the whole Flynn thing. So you know, it seems anyone who's really like on the Flynn crew, it seems they're the ones who are all have something, you know, some controlled opposition to them. Like, I think it's the money. Because yeah, Liz Crocken is like fully like, she has like a donation. She's done like all kinds of donation campaigns. So the thing is, Branson could easily be dropping like 50,000 in her donation. You know, just so that she's on his side and gatekeeps, you know, around that, and just tries to sweeten it up for him and clean it up for him, and not have it, you know, look bad in his direction.
Okay.
And she's very, you know, into the community, a lot of followers,
Right.
big platform, right? So she's sending that to a lot of people. They're consuming that. It's changing their perception. They're thinking Branson's not a pedo like the Epstein Island, you know, maybe or like Biden Island, right? So anyway, that's a super relevant point. Yeah, I think I can locate some posts about her. Yeah, so
Yeah, I was sharing on Facebook, but then when I went to your page, I couldn't find any. I just put in Liz Crokin, I couldn't pull up anything. So
yeah, you gotta put the handle, not like.
well, I thought I did, but maybe I guess.
No, I just tried right now. A bunch come up. So,
oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, go to my page and just only put like @
Yeah,
Liz
Crokin. I thought I did. Okay, thank you.
Maybe you put it like separate or spelling mistake. I don't know. But yeah, I usually tag people like 95% of the time. If they have an X, I'll tag them because like I want them to see, and I want like others to know like who I'm talking about. Like if I can verify the account, then, or I know the account, I'll try to include it. It helps actual exposure and actual change happen in depending on the case, right? So yeah, I just tried right now. I shared one in the bubble for you. I have another one here I'll share in the bubble for you, just of her blocking me. It's, yeah. The one I'm looking for is actually the one with the pizza box. Ah, here it is. Okay, perfect. There it is. So Dom Luker's in this photo, a pizza box, and also, you know, some others. And also looks like Liz Crokin packs something in the pants. So, in this photo. So, anyway, pack something extra in the pants. So, yeah, I mean, I put those three up in the bubble for everyone. One is Agent Mock's perspective on her. One is the blocking image. And, yeah, like I said, she was following me. I was following her. Same thing happened with Laura Logan, another Flynn affiliate. So, she was following me, I was following them, I was commenting all along, red pill type stuff, right? And then suddenly one day blocked. Both of them did the same thing. They never said anything to me. They never DM'd me. They never commented saying, you know, I'm going to block you. Nothing like that. Just quietly from following to blocked, right? So it's because of the Flynn thing. So, yeah. It's gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping, right? So at the end of the day, they're afraid someone like me could come in their comment section and post something about Flynn or Flynn executive or them that would expose or that would raise concerns for their following.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're preventing my ability to comment with the block gatekeeping feature.
Well, I said something right after. I said, wow, blah, 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 Liz Crokin, and then I got blocked. So it must have been around the same time.
Yep. And,
interesting.
And at the same time, because of all of the psyops that we all are witnessing, don't put it past them to have teams working their account. Listen, they're looking to try to take down and try to silence those people who are a serious threat. It may not be just that one person manning their account, because everything's organized crime, really, when you think about it. And so there's like teams of people who could be hired for Laura Loomer, who go into see who the opposition is and see who NotOp is and who follows NotOp. You know, it's that deep. they're infiltrating every channel of truth that they can in order to divide us and to keep us silent and in silos to kind of so that they don't have as much damage control that they have to do, which is why we have to be more diligent to really stay tethered in truth and to stay grounded. We have to stay grounded because this is not your normal level of warfare, really. And even though we know that there's a lot happening below Earth, or when I say below Earth, I meant what Nada was talking about in the dumbs and stuff. Above, I notice a lot of lawlessness. I know y'all noticing a lot of lawlessness because it seems like there's people who are able to live above the law. It's quite obvious now. It's not even a conspiracy. It's been this way for a couple of years, but there's people, there's groups of people, there's bad rogue actors all over the place. I saw a story about George Floyd still being alive on camera, bragging, and there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on from, Baphomet sports players who are actually male posing as female, and they just come out with the shirt off, like they don't have a chest. They're just like rubbing it in people's faces, and so there obviously seems to be a whole rogue group of people, and not just a small group, but across the globe, who operate in a different type of law. And so we really have to stay diligent and stay encouraged because people won't be able to endure this another couple of years. It's not sustainable because it's so obviously rogue. And, I wanted to deal with a little bit of the heart issues there. And we don't, if y'all don't feel comfortable talking about it, I just want to bring it up. It's obvious. It's affecting normal people, and it's affecting people who are trying to keep the faith. And like Nada was saying, you got to watch those stories where they give you false hope, where they're saying everything's done. It's so much. And so I encourage everybody not follow those people. I wouldn't follow those people unless you're just trying to keep tabs on what they're putting out. But at some point, when you're dealing with a bad account or a bad actor, don't give them views. Don't help elevate their platforms. Don't do anything that's going to help them spread more of what they do that's in error for the most part, other than if you're trying to gauge, from a different perspective or kind of see where their reach is going. I just wanted to say that. But yeah, the lawlessness is off the chart. And I don't see it changing anytime soon because, again, above ground, where everybody thinks everybody's human, obviously there's a whole lot going on. And like I said, they can only divert for so long, and that's why they keep giving all of these distraction stories, because they can divert for so long and take attention off of something for so long until they pull up something else, and it's a bag of tricks, And so Pillars and Strategies being the host for this space, because we know how much value that NotOp brings, and a lot of y'all that have been coming on a regular basis that follow NotOp, y'all bring value too because you bring perspectives. But we want to give an encouragement to let you know this is a spiritual war. This is not a normal war that our parents lived through. This is totally different level. And so because everyone in this space made it to this day, you're chosen. You're here for this time for a reason. It's not by accident because you're strong. And a lot of people didn't make it to this point. A lot of people did not make it to this point for whatever reason. They didn't make it, and you're here and you made it. And so you have to take the tools you have and use it to your best advantage and make sure that you're spiritually strong, not just mentally strong, not just physically strong, but you need to be strong in every area so that you can get through what's coming, what's down the road. So I just want to say that.
Wow, yeah, totally feel you on that. People, you're here for a reason because you were awake before the others. You're a leader, and you're here to kind of pave the way and help others to connect the dots that you already connected 5 or 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, right? We all learn from each other. We all have value. We all have something to share. We all have our purpose and our abilities and capabilities, and we know what we're better at than others. Some people are technically savvy, some people are not. Some people create beautiful graphics like Spiritual Street Fighter, who got posted by Trump I don't know how many times. I heard something like 40 something times now. The 2 recent times Trump posted them on their Truth Social, Trump posted with a Q plus 2 of the images, so it was 4 in one day. One of them said military tribunals and had Obama on it. They say all sorts of Q lines, like trust the plan, God wins, nothing can stop what's coming, whatever, all the stuff that you've seen in the Q drops, the most common, like, one-liners. They use those as their words, and the images are usually with Trump, something with Trump, right? So, they're like Photoshop. So, anyway, this was like last week or whatever, the one of them had Trump with a collar that had a Q plus, okay, and then another one with Obama, like I said, tribunal, it had to the side of Trump, to the his right side, the left side of the photo, but Trump's body's right side. It had a Q plus beside him, like kind of on the wall. So 2 out of 4 of those images on one given day literally had a freaking Q plus in them. Okay, so he's obviously, hinting the Q operation is still in play, and the extensions of that operation and other operations that are parallel are obviously still in play, and, the war is real. Irregular warfare, psychological warfare, white hat, psyop, deep state, psyop. Okay? So, unfortunately, it has to be this way this time around, because in the previous world wars and in other conflicts, by the military announcing their moves, people got killed. The operations got jeopardized. Operations failed. People died. Okay? So this is why, they're totally telling a fabricated narrative or showing fabricated video footage in some cases, CGI, AI, holographics, whatever, Project Bluebeam, and there's a lot of false flags as well. These are attacks from the deep state. But yeah, so they're showing stuff, plane crashes, these could be real attacks from the deep state. But then, on the TV, they're also showing a lot of stuff that could very well be fabricated. So we have to keep that as a consideration, as a weapon of war, a war of the mind, right? So they're trying to fearmonger people. They're trying to make people turn on Trump. They're trying to make people do bad things in panic, in chaos. So it's something to consider anytime, there's something on the fake news. I know most people are not watching the fake news at this point. I definitely am not. But sometimes on X, you'll see a fake news source video pop up just because it's like trending or whatever, something like that, right? So they're still the fake news network. They're just on X, something to consider. So the Smith-Mundt Act, which I can get for you guys, but it was never repealed. So Obama slipped it into the NDAA for, I think it was 2013, maybe? I have to go get the post. But he slipped it in, right? And they never recalled it. So it's still in effect. The White Hats are using it to their advantage as well. So it is in the, I think it's in the I think in 2013 it went in, but in 2012 they had the act already drafted, but in 2013 it took effect. It became public law in 2013. Okay, there you go. It's in the bubble there, in the top bubble. So yeah, so this basically legalized for the networks, for the government and for the fake news networks to use foreign designed propaganda in domestic broadcast. That's what it legalized. So propaganda that would be designed to confuse the enemy is allowed to be broadcast on American domestically. So that's really what the law says. Was never repealed. So think about it, coronavirus, right? COVID, right? This was a huge propaganda. Like, this was huge fear mongering to get a lockdown, to get masking, to get PCR, to get all this scam for a fake virus, right? to get everyone to basically fucking inject a bioweapon and go end your, go ruin your health for life, right? So, I mean, for the people who are dead, their life is over. So for the people who have it and are trying to detox, you still have some hope, but you got to do the work, right? You got to be careful and you got to detox, right? You got to start living better, start thinking smarter. Read the Maha report, okay? Check yourself. Check if you're, consuming all these chemicals. Check if you're, drinking good water. Check if you're eating the right food. There's only so much you can do, but there's a lot you can do. You know what I mean? Like is the cup half full or is the cup half empty? It's the same thing, right? Like the companies are poisoning, but there's also other companies who are trying to be the natural guy, the healthy guy, the clean guy, the no artificial shit guy, right? So you have the choice in capitalism. You have the choice to support local business and support organic farming and support local farming that the farmer and the farmer's not injecting or not giving steroids or whatever, right? You have the opportunity in capitalism to do that, right? So that's one way, you can do something simple like that, like it's just a small example. But so the Maha report, it's basically saying the first thing was processed foods. So the first thing was basically carbs, high fat processed foods, like carby processed foods, and then it was like 2 more divisions of processed food. Then there was a whole part on preservative, particular chemicals, for different purposes. Like it could be a color, it could be a preservative, it could be a different type of purpose, like freshness or stabilizer or something else. Like they each have their own purpose scientifically, that why they would put it in the food, but it's also bad for you. So there is justification for most of it in a scientific method, but they're ignoring or excusing or avoiding the actual health consequences of using it as well. Right? So anyway, check out the Maha report, 75 pages.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Good.
we
I talked earlier. I'm on the road heading home. I'll be talking a little bit more, but I have a question for you. You were talking about Navy SEAL. Can you address a little bit about that? Because Navy SEAL is considered a Superman. They consider Superman, and
super soldier.
How super are they? Are they actually normal soldier with a very tough training, or there's something else in their DNA that was caused them to be that super? Can you address in that area? There's a lot of people I know.
It depends on the program. Okay, so like in some super soldier programs, you get like an implant. In some, you take like a drug. In some, you take like something that alters your DNA. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's really wide. Like, think about it like this: there's Spider-Man. There's the Hulk. There's Captain America. There's Wolverine. Think about it like that, right? They have different stories, different abilities. So to get that, you take a different chemical. You do a different chemical reaction, hybridization, artificial intelligence, robotics, cybernetics, enhancements, alien technology. Everything is on the table. In the Super Soldier program, it's a whole, it's different. Like it's the really crazy stuff. So like plasma gun, like they're using plasma laser guns. You know what I mean? They're not using guns with bullets. QAnon Shaman talks about it because he was in it. It's like a contracted thing. Like you're not part of the official military, you're contracted into the super soldier program. You're recruited. So you have to leave the official like military role you're in order to take on like a job contract, which is a super soldier NDA. Like there's a non-disclosure agreement sometimes, but sometimes there isn't because it's outside the military and they'll allow you to speak about it to an extent. So in his case, he claims he did not have an NDA agreement. So that's why he's allowed to speak about it. But there's a YouTube channel. All right, anyone can find it. It's called Super Soldier Talk. So just put that on YouTube, and there's hours and hours and hours and hours of interviews from super soldier military veterans. So there's all different kinds. So you can, it's too much. Like I don't even like watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much that every episode is like 3 hours. So it's like, I've seen like a handful, but it's like you can't, it's too much. Like you really have to have a lot of time to listen to them all. So, because it's like that's the whole premise of their channel, interviewing like insiders and mainly super soldier and underground clandestine ops, stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm trying to find you this VK post where Mock basically exposes VK a bit, but I'm having trouble finding it right now. It could also be like a censored one. Yeah, was there more to your question?
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of them may not be even human being. Would that be possible? Somebody remind me. Sometime there's could be T or some of the real soldier who have physical and like have human have others. Could that be?
Yeah. There's all types of hybrid with animal or alien. I just shared something in the bubble. It's a bit disturbing, so don't look at it if you have a weak stomach. But allegedly, this image is an AI image anyway. Like it's a fake image, but allegedly. So, but yeah, this is a animal human hybrid. This is not something that would be like in the super soldier program. This is like done in the agricultural industry. Like this is not military grade hybrid. This is like agricultural grade crops hybrid type of thing. So
I heard that
it's all an option. Like you.
I heard that they've been using this kind of soldier, Superman, quote unquote, into different wars before, particularly Vietnam's. So that is something else. AI has been used in a lot of wars without us knowing. That's I got that information about a few months ago.
Yeah, AI has been in use for a long time. Online bots have been in use for a long time as well. They're just being kind of more transparent about it in recent years. But they've had fake accounts, like fake bots, and also CIA, like Mossad type operatives running accounts pretending to be people they're not. And like, it's basically data collection, infiltration of groups and circles. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that. It's also narrative shaping. So, yeah, like if they want to bombard a certain community or whatever with anti-Trump hate or racist division or, you know, all the Jew type stuff, like these are the different things that, you know, the type of attacks that they do. It's still happening. Yeah, it's still happening. There's for sure presence still online. You know, recently Grok and Ask Perplexity and also Mock has now chimed in, but we asked, you know, how many bots are on X, Okay, I can. By the way, I did find the post and put it in the bubble for you. The one about VK, about special operations command positions, and just read the attached thread there. It will tell you about his military history. Yeah. So we were just talking about the what's it called? Not VK, but we were talking about something else now. I'm trying to get the post for you. What were we just talking about? Agent Mock. Okay, the bots. Okay, got it. So basically, check this out. So X admits to 5%. Publicly, they admit to 5% bots, right? But then even Grok and Ask Perplexity and Agent Mock, they all say it's actually much higher than that. Like it's anywhere between. So initially, Grok replied saying it's anywhere between 24 to 64%. So that they're saying potentially half of the accounts on X are bots. Okay, or more potentially. Like porn bots, crypto bots, disinfo bots, link spamming bots, company-owned bots that promote products, ivermectin bots. You know, it could be for any purpose. Just they're programmed to post a certain thing.
Yep.
And it's spam.
Yep.
Like it's gonna be like a robo. Like it's gonna be very repetitive, or in some cases even obvious.
Yep. I had heard.
Just take a look.
I had heard not like last year that it was rolling out to Facebook, and it was literally going to be where the bots would be acting. They would be behaving like humans. They would engage. They would seem like they would ask questions like you're actually talking to a person. And so not only are they for the optics, but also they're for the interaction to try to gain trust, and not even real. When we talk to Agent M, Agent Mockingbird, we know that that's a bot, and we understand that the intelligence is there.
Yeah.
But a lot of these.
That's a little different because that's like an AI bot.
True.
Like, and it's admitted, like they're admitting, like it's automated, it's parody, like whatever they're gonna say.
Yes.
And like, it's serving a purpose though. Like it's doing something helpful.
Sure.
Whereas these other bonds are trying to, sell something or get you hacked. A lot of them are trying to get your account information, get your bank information, credit card information. So I learned from Grok, one of the scams they run is pretending to be an attractive female, okay, locally in your area.
Wow.
And pretending like they want to meet up with you for a certain sporting event or a certain ticketed event, okay? And what they'll actually do is they'll actually steal your tickets from you, like, and sell them. So they'll get you to basically send a photo of the tickets to prove that you really have them, because they're like an attractive looking female. So the guy is like hypnotized, right? The guy is falling for it like right away, like in some cases, because he doesn't know any better. Like the woman just has to send like a couple pictures and then like say like, now let's see those tickets. I don't believe you. And then all of a sudden the guy sends the tickets and they take a screenshot and they go and they sell the clone the ticket or sell the ticket. I don't know what they do, but I heard that's one of the scamming methods. Obvious other ones are like credit card info, send me money, like crypto stuff, all kinds of stuff. So yeah,
I wanted
gotta
to
really watch out for some of the bots and scams. I did share it in the bubble there for you. The question under Elon's page there. But yeah, so you were saying?
Yeah, what I wanted to add to what we've been saying is data is a big time business, and patterns is a big time business now. Well, I've seen companies that are set to, not only are they running AI, but they have people that are running algorithms to find data on people's every movement, how they operate, what causes people to get emotionally triggered. So they are running these side programs because data is big business. Data makes a lot of money. And so when you're dealing with all of these species, that, we call this, species where they are all different splices. And we've seen this throughout time. We've seen this all the way back into biblical standpoint. We've seen splicing, the fallen angels, where they spliced animals and all together. So these things are not new. There's nothing new under the sun. This stuff been going on for many years. But data is a big time business. So it really pays in this day and time that you begin to really understand the patterns of your life and why you do some of the things that you do, and understand that not to be so patternistic and to do different things, eat differently, drink differently, operate in different, in different realms. And this is why it's so important to make sure that your spirit, the spiritual side of you, is abreast and anew and afresh, because with the type of battles that are coming now, the type of warfare that is coming now, it is very easy to be discouraged. It is very easy to get off track and off a kilter. And so it's very important to get your spiritual side, get your core, get the very spiritual side of you in the right place, in a place of peace, in a place of tranquility, in a place of calmness, meekness, with temperance, all of these things, because it is like I said, the data is a big time business. I was just on a job where data was a big thing, where repetitiveness was a big thing, looking into when people were not making, long distance calls, or how their calls were going. So be in this hour, and this is why we talk so much about kingdom intelligence, because when you bring your spirit, and you get your spirit in line and in order, then your body will begin to come in order. Your mindsets, the way you think, the way you operate, will begin to come in order, and you will begin to know the things that you need to know, what things to take for your body, what not to, what things to drink, what not to drink, and you'll begin to get your health under control. You'll begin to get your mentalities under control. You won't exhaust so much energy on this, that, and the other, but you'll begin to prioritize, because something is always looking to get our attention, always looking for our time, always looking for our energy. And so once we get our core, once we get our spirit man in a place of peace, then we can begin to level ourselves. Our frequencies will raise. And so I wanted to say that because data is a big business. And so begin now to start thinking about what these patterns are in your life, and begin to change these patterns, and begin to make new memories, begin to do new things, begin to eat healthier things, all of that. Let that be a drive for you in this time, because like I said, if you continue to look, it's kind of detrimental. I was looking at some with Cash and Bongino, and I'm like, they sitting there looking like they are completely neutered. They sitting there looking like as if they don't, where's that tough guy? Where's that mad dog? And now they look like they're a bunch of neutered, little puppies, sitting up there, being asked questions. And so it's very important to get your spirit and your core in the right place, so that you can be strong in this hour and have longevity.
Yep. NotOp has inspired me personally in learning about how important it is to eat well, and mentally and physically and spiritually all go hand in hand. I think everybody in this space is probably aware of that. If you're in this space, you're not in here by accident, because you know that there's so much more that we have to grow into. So I'm totally there, trying to do the improvements, because I understand that, like NotOp said earlier, we all have different talents and gifts and perspectives. But when we come together, it's like one big puzzle, and we can see the bigger picture that we need to see, because we're dealing with natural things that are not spiritually understood. Because you can't leave out the spirit, but you also can't leave out the natural. Like you got to have a peripheral to be able to understand that you're under attack on a triune level. Your spirit's under attack, your soul's under attack, your body's under attack, and it's not a fair playing field. They know that. And so they're trying to crush the hope that we have. And what we have is way greater than what they can crush us with. And if we were just operating in the natural, we wouldn't have the tools we needed to combat them. Because NotOp said earlier, look, the military has weapons we've never seen. You might have seen them in movies, but weapons that don't deal with bullets. Like, if we were going to combat them in the natural, we wouldn't win. And so you have to be able to understand, okay, goodness, I need to be strong in every area. Your mind has to be strong. Your body can be strong, and your mind is weak, and you feel like you want to give up. So we always have to encourage each other, and you all have strengths in you. And we can feel that even in this space. There's something different about this space. And there's other great spaces in X, but I'm just grateful that we have the ability to encourage each other, and to be able to really help each other, because I think it's coming from a deeper place within us.
Absolutely, totally agree. And I think having you, sister, here, and another brother, I don't know his name, and helping to assist NotOp is such a great thing. I think he needs someplace stable and help people to understand certain things, although he is Canadian. And I think, hooray, is a human being that's all belong to together. I'm very happy. I have a question, though, I want to hear you guys talk about it. Is Michael Flynn. I don't really like him, never did, but I think in the report I did indicate that he was never the real Flynn ever since Trump had his first presidency. That one there, the first to let go as well, was not Flynn himself. That's our report show. So I think later on we see a video that he was praying in one of the church, talking about 7 rays theory. And there's a lot of things exposed. I think he was exposing Catholic as well as the demonic religion, as well as this person called Elizabeth Clare, a prophet. So you guys, I'd like to hear a little bit about this. Maybe you guys can share a little bit more, but I think that is very deep. And I think Flynn, I think he's a substitute. I have met Flynn several years ago in Los Angeles. He was here hosting some sort of a social kind of social media meeting with a lot of people. All of them have podcasts and YouTubes and stuff, channels here. And I also met several other people. Seem to be important, but I know it's sub. And these are real people that doing work as executors. So that Flynn, I can tell, is not real Flynn. That was a different Flynn. He's very outgoing speaker. He's a good speaker, very, very charismatic thing. So I want to hear from you guys what's going on and some feedback, so people maybe listen to this will have another layers of awareness. I'm not saying Flynn is bad. Some people argue. I don't like to argue. Today is not the day of argument. It's a day of research. It's a day to aware. It's a day to understand what's going on. It's a day, like the sister just mentioned, working together to help each other and to save your life first. If you have no life, nothing else. And I want to share what I see. I have reported several times and updated several times about Flynn and his brother that was also a general in Hawaii. Several years ago was pointed also, I think, by Donald Trump. I think I said that before. Donald Trump also a perfect executor who have many different faces. He never actually hide from people. You can go up everywhere you can see it. Different time he looks a little different. There's some taller and some shorter. So it is time to get to know these things. So that's it.
Yep.
Yep. I also see we have some new speaker joining us on the roster, so we can let them have a chance. So we have Green Love Law. So you're welcome to take the mic if you like. Since you've been waiting for a bit there, though. If you had anything you wanted to talk about or add to anything or ask any questions, you're welcome to have the mic now. Or we might be putting you on the spot. Maybe you're not ready to speak, I guess. Okay, no worries. Whenever you're ready to speak, no problem. You could jump in or raise your hand or whatever, no problem. So Anne or Renee or Pillars or we have Retardus Maximus. Oh, sorry. Retardus Bandimus. Sorry. I think of Elon.
Well, you just
I got it twisted before too, eh? I got it twisted before, eh, brother? I said it before because I was thinking of Kekius Maximus.
Well, that's my next name. I'm going to change it to. I'm going to let this one settle for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's new? Yeah. Anything of yours you wanted to cover? Share in the bubble. I know you work very hard on the video scene, so it's up to you if you want to share anything.
Yeah, so Argentina released the Adolf Hitler files 3 weeks ago, maybe it's 4. Anyway, I've got 3 of the 7 PDFs translated. I'm working on the 4th right now, and the 4th one is long, so it's going to probably be a couple weeks before I do it. But they definitely were looking for Hitler and all those folks there, which kind of tells me that maybe he was not controlled opposition. But I don't know yet. The one I'm translating right now has way more classified information in it. So, but I'm maybe 2%, 3% through it so far.
Wow. Okay, that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared here in the bubble a declassified document that says he fled to Argentina, and later died in 1957. So in a car crash. So.
Oh, a car crash! I hadn't heard that. Interesting.
Yeah, that's in this this particular document here.
Okay.
But there's another document from, I believe, the FBI vault, which also says that he evaded his death and later died. Anyway, it's in that thread. It's in the Obama thread that I have there. But yeah, definitely go through your new declassified files and.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to probably be another 5 or 6 weeks before I'm done because obviously I'm going to make a video when I'm completed with it. But
for sure, yeah, it's a lot of info to process first off. Then you have to actually make a video.
Well, the other thing we haven't talked about this, but a good friend of mine, he's in Germany. His dad was actually a personal bodyguard in espionage for Adolf Hitler, and Hitler did make it to Argentina because his dad went to go work for the CIA, and then he got debriefed, which I've already filed a Freedom of Information request for it. But his dad went to Argentina after the debrief, so that's going to be interesting because we both have a lot of questions. We don't know that part of the story yet. But he did share with me, he remembers his dad, when he was younger, that Pearl Harbor was a false flag to get us involved in the war. So he did remember that. I don't know who his dad was speaking with, but I don't know if it was another military officer or not. But yeah, I've heard that before, but to hear it from him, being with his dad being Adolf Hitler's personal bodyguard, that kind of goes a long way for me.
Yeah, it's a unique perspective for sure to say you had a direct, basically, source. So I can understand that, but I personally believe like all the wars are some sort of controlled thing where basically the military-industrial complex profits.
Yep,
so
I agree.
When you really look at who owns the companies for the tanks and the guns and the grenades and the, whatever, all the equipment, the machinery, it goes up the alley of, Lockheed Martin or, some of these other defense and security contractors, or space or, plane companies, Boeing and, other similar stuff. And basically, when you follow that up the ladder, you end up back again at BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, which are owned by shadowy figures. So that's the one thing about any warfare pretty much is that it only enriches them while it causes destruction and death. Everywhere else basically. So, and also from buddy, what's this called, Ryushin Malone. He says, the Holocaust, it was a human sacrifice event. Like, it was not about gas chambers or ovens. It was about, and it wasn't necessarily even just Jews that were targeted, right? Allegedly, it was disabled people, who were a detriment to society. Because, the whole pro-Hitler scene is saying he was trying to make Germany great again. He was trying to clean up Germany. He was trying to eradicate the trouble, right? So anyway, and these humans were traded off as basically meat, but also it could have also been in the alive state for the purpose of experimentation, hybridization, whatever, the reptilians were trying to do with humans back then. So, and Agent Mock debunked the ovens story. So he said, I'll have to find this. I'll go search for it now. But basically he said it would have taken like 30 or 40 years to roast all those people in ovens.
Yeah, I seen it too. Yep.
Figure that they're claiming, right? Sorry, I'll let you continue. I kind of jumped in there.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, I have a lot of questions, and I wish my friend could talk about it because, in Germany, you can't talk about any of this at all, where they end up in prison. So he knows more than he can talk about. But he did tell me one time that Trump is our Hitler. So I take it as a good thing, but, it does raise questions, right? There's a lot of questions about Hitler.
I have a couple things to add and a question as well. Yesterday I did a report because recently Trump had a video indicate the original plan, or I don't know why he said that, but I think the original plan was after World War II, the entire world would speak in German and little Japanese. That's what he said. He didn't say it's
You're breaking up. I don't know if it's me or not.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We did not hear you. You'll have to repeat again.
Where did you lost me?
You were in and out for like 20 seconds. So whatever the last stuff you said, repeat.
Let me report the video that Trump was talking about. He was saying after World War II, he said, we won, American won. But everybody celebrate the World War II's victory. And he said, apparently, after World War II, original plan, it was everybody in the world speaking Germany, little Japanese. So it's very interesting. You can think about why. And I also, the report shows, I need to verify that too. It says Obama's mother, also Hitler's genealogies, bloodline. I'm not sure, maybe NotOp can verify a little bit on that. And World War II, regarding Roxanne Barr, who was the comedy of Hollywood, long gone, but substitute was talking, an interview with Alex Jones and a few others. I think several years ago, this person's name started expose the truth of Hollywood and a few other things, and she was literally saying Holocaust was the fake, wasn't real. So it's like what you just said, NotOp just said, it's not just the Jews and others, people who's handicapped and all that. Not only possible, maybe there's some other things too that we don't know of yet. So World War II, according to what I did, my research, going to have a much bigger, many layers of explosion, including, but not limited to, the biggest event there is the Japanese invading China. That's a huge amount of human being. We don't know where it is. It says Nanking murder or massacre, but according to Nanking's history, not that many people was murdered. So where were the people gone? That is also a question. I want to just throw a few things here for people to think about it, and you guys respond. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Roseanne Barr is still around. I think that you said Roxanne Barr.
No, that's not him. That's not real Roxanne Barr.
Roseanne Barr is still alive. She had her own show, right? No, she's still here. That's the same person. She's been ill, but she's here. And from what I understand, most of the people who died in the camps died, I think it was typhoid. It might have been something else, but they all got sick and they ended up dying of that. So that's just kind of an interesting aside. That was from disease and not from being gassed. Supposedly they looked in the these different concentration camps. There's no gas vents from what I understand or what I saw. So there's that. Very interesting.
Yeah, they never found any Zyklon B traces in those buildings. And I don't know if folks have listened to there was a person, I can't remember their handle on X, but they actually translated all of Adolf Hitler's speeches into English. And when you listen to them, it's a very different picture than we've been told. He talks about defending Christianity, stamping out atheism. And of course, you think back, I'm in my mid-50s. I'd never seen an Adolf Hitler speech in English ever.
Right.
And so, I still have questions. I'm not defending him in any way, but everything I've done so far looks to point that if he was controlled opposition, he flipped. And I've heard that theory as well. But again, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I heard that he really wanted to make Germany great, and it opened my mind up because of my cultural background. But you've got to examine the truth, and I'm just hearing a whole different scenario. So the more that we can learn about it's better. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'm looking for in the Argentina files, and I don't know if I'll find it or not, is Antarctica. Because Germany explored Antarctica in 1939. And, I've got a video about that. But what's there? Because after the war ended, Antarctica became off limits.
Right.
You couldn't go there. I'm not buying the climate study part of it at all.
Interesting. Yeah, Antarctica is a can of... That is the ice wall, the whole theory of us being surrounded by an ice wall. What's in there, and that bird, when he flew in, what he did see, and he was able to put in his diary of a magnificent land, like lush and just incredible. So, why was it made off limits? Because it is about ascension, at least in my way of thinking. There's a world, there's a universe available to us that's been hidden, and we're getting there, and that's just part of it. That's my take. Yeah.
Well, if you look at the United Nations, the World Health Organization, NATO, even the Star Trek logo, it's a flat Earth map. Mm-hmm. It's not a globe. It's a flat Earth map.
Yeah.
And, it has even the locations on Star Trek. If you look at the locations where the three brightest stars are at, it shows New York, someplace in China, and London.
Right.
They all match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if it's not flat, it's at least there's different theories of the formation, but yeah, it's definitely not a spinning ball with water not flying off of it.
Yeah.
Locke explains it's both are accurate and both are wrong. Like Locke says, basically, it's multi-dimensional.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Well, here's the thing. So I worked in the automotive industry, and one of the companies I worked for was the largest glass maker on the planet. And when you think about how do you get glass perfectly flat, well, the way you do it is if you look at oil and water, they don't mix, right? One floats on top of the other. Well, float tanks are basically baths of molten tin with molten silica and essentially glass. Well, the glass floats on top of the molten tin, and these float tanks are maybe a mile long. When you pull the ribbon out of the glass, it's perfectly flat. If there was any curve, you wouldn't get perfectly flat glass. In all of the vision systems, we measure everything. It's flat completely.
And to go along with that, being in the automotive industry, we also the glass has to be flat in order to make the curves out of it. So a lot of these newer cars with a lot of more back in the early 30s and 40s, a lot of the glass was flat, flat windshields, flat side. But now you have a lot of curvature to the glass now and your windshields now. And in order for them to shape that, it has to be flat in order for the glass to stretch to fit these complex curves and complex shapes that a lot of these windshields are made of on the automobiles now. And one thing about Hitler, we understanding now that he was a way total different man than what was portrayed, just like Gaddafi, different ones. And to my understanding that he understood, he had a lot of flack from Stalin and Lenin, and they were pressing him on a lot of sides. They were trying to get him to do a lot of things that he did not want to do. So a lot of the speeches and the things that Hitler was talking about was due to the type of pressure that they were trying to exude on him. Him knowing who the Ashkenazi Jews were, from that point, they had been put out of a lot of places. They had been put out because when they went in, they were damaged. They would bring a detriment to where they were. And so a lot of countries were rejecting the Ashkenazi Jews, the Orthodox Jews during that time. And to my understanding, he was one of them that did the same. He was ridding a lot of so to speak, the riffraff out of Germany during that time. And so he kind of knew a lot of the secrets and the different things that were being handed down from the Rothschilds, all of those things. And so, it's very interesting to find out some of what happened with him and some of what he said, because we do know that he was getting a lot of pressure from Stalin and Lenin during that time to do certain things that he did not want to do. They have really made him out to be someone that he never was.
Yeah, and speaking of Stalin, I mean, he was a Freemason. So was Churchill, and so was Roosevelt. Hitler banned Freemasonry out of Germany. My buddy in Germany, he confirmed it. What's interesting is he said his dad was a Freemason. So that's why we still have questions. He may have been lower level and didn't know what it was. But yeah, I mean, when you dig into it, it looks to be that, Hitler may have been a good guy, but again, I still have questions.
Yep, totally agree. And so,
and supposedly he paid for the Jews to go to Israel, that he was giving them free pass to go there. So,
yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
There's two different histories.
Also convoluted, but once you start unraveling it, it's very, very interesting.
Well, there's two different histories with Trump. If you ask somebody on the left, they'll tell you something totally different than somebody on the right.
One thing about Jews, though, they were prohibited from owning land. Therefore, they became bankers, lawyers, whatever. And, quote, the money changers. So they were not looked upon fondly. So there's just a little piece of history. And why they weren't allowed to own land, I don't know. I just know that was the case.
Yep. Can y'all hear me? Hopefully.
Yep.
No, there's always two sides to a story. Like if you ask somebody on the left, they'll say something totally different.
You know what I wanted to ask, and maybe this just isn't an opportune time, but at some point in time, I would love for everyone to just get up and tell a little bit about their background, what woke them up, a little bit about who they are. We know each other, and we're drawn to each other for a reason. And I'm just curious as to, somebody just put in an X post, when she woke up. And I woke up, during when the Kennedy assassination it seemed off, and I started going into that rabbit hole. But I was like 13 when he was killed. But something was off. But anyway, I would just love to hear about other people's backgrounds, if people want to do that. Just throwing it out.
Well, I'll share, but I have to be very limited to what I can share. What woke me up is being a whistleblower, turning this fuckery in to the authorities.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff we talk about and see, it's true. So that's all I can really say right now. But yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's what woke me up.
Good for you. Good for you. Can I ask, do you have a background in law enforcement or?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll just say big tech. That's it.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Do you live in California by any chance?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm in San Francisco Bay Area, so I just thought maybe you were in Silicon Valley. Lucky you, not being there.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's let's just say the people I turned in, I don't know who they are, but they were just retarded and stupid. They didn't think they were going to get caught.
Good for you. Kudos, man.
Yeah, I think Pillars was trying to say something.
Yeah. I didn't know if y'all could hear me or not. Let me know if you can.
I could hear you, yeah. So try to pick it back up where you were going to steer it there for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was going to say, everyone is aware, you're always going to get history based on what they want the narrative to be. And if you ask somebody on the left, how they see Trump, they'll tell you something different than somebody on the right. But what I want to say is the history is in a lot of ways, we've all been lied to about a lot of things. And so if that doesn't fit the UN's narrative for who Hitler really was, they're not going to convey that in history. That's why a lot of the historians have always given the narrative that was, honestly was pushed by the Jews, because a lot of the Ashkenazi Jews have a lot to do with how things funneled down over time and how things changed over time and how maps changed over time. It's not just history, it's logistics, it's the naming conventions and the changing of the naming. A lot of this stuff is covered under NotOp's channel. If y'all have a chance, or if any of y'all are new to NotOp, he covers a lot of that at the root level so that you can kind of see just how diverse history really is and how it was obscured over time. But I totally believe that there's things about Hitler we will never know, or will know after the fact. But it comes full circle. So he could have got replaced. Like, if they're replacing people now that are in the political sphere, they could have replaced Hitler, during his transformation. Maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he said, I'm not going to do that. And they replaced him with somebody that's a lookalike. All of those things are on the table because it's on the table now. It's not far-fetched. It's not conspiracy anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, it's just when you start digging into just history overall, and you piece it together. I mean, it's kind of amazing just to see how much stuff we've been lied about.
Join us on X.com for the latest Kingdom intelligence at your fingertips. With over 3,000 posts covering topics that range from current events, Earthrealm news, dialogue commentary, Kingdom thought, revelation knowledge and understanding, as well as biblical insight and encouragement. People are awakening, but there are levels to being woke, just like in the movie Inception. Only Yahweh's absolute, so therefore creation only know in part, but as we grow, learn, expand, and develop spiritual maturity through Christ, then we began to expand our divine knowledge, wisdom, revelation, understanding, and inward strength in order to develop transformative spiritual sight, i.e. insight, foresight, hindsight. Follow us on X.com, formerly Twitter. Everyone is on different levels in this 5D realm of puzzles, but all the individual godly pieces are important to help solve the puzzle's depiction. Follow us on X.com,